After 3 months of a silent standoff with Luna, Theo posted a getting married announcement on social media. Later that week, he also got promoted within our friend group's fantasy football league. Everyone spammed him with congratulations, saying their high school sweethearts finally made it from football jerseys to wedding dresses. As the group chat was blowing up, Theo dragged in a drop-dead gorgeous professor with a serious dummy mommy style. "Don't get the wrong idea, this is my wife," he announced. The group immediately went silent. 3 days prior, while cleaning up the future honeymoon suite, Theo accidentally knocked over a mug that Luna's chat ex had gifted her. After hesitating for a moment, Theo took a photo of the broken pieces and sent it to Luna, his fiancée. Luna responded, "Wait for me at home." Theo looked at the cut on his hand, still bleeding, and thought, "Damn, that's deeper than I thought. Shouldn't have rushed to pick it up." 15 minutes later, Luna returned. Seeing the shards on the floor, her expression darkened. "Theo, what did you do?" Facing Luna, Theo's voice unconsciously softened. "I'm sorry, I bumped into it and it fell." Luna was breathing hard, her chest rising and falling. She tried to control her anger, pointing at the broken pieces. "Pick them up." Theo realized she was angry, shocked that she would be mad at him over a mug from an ex. He held out his hand, showing her the cut. "I just cut my hand. I'll go get a band-aid." She didn't look at him, her voice still cold. "I told you to pick it up. Did you not hear me?" Theo took Luna's hand. "I'm sorry, I'll buy you a new one, okay?" Luna pulled her hand away. "Theo, you're not usually clumsy. You did that on purpose, didn't you?" Hearing that, Theo's heart ached. All the pent-up frustration came pouring out. "It's just a mug. Why are you so angry at me?" Hearing that, Luna couldn't contain her anger. "It's just a mug? Easy for you to say. You know what this mug means to me." She didn't finish the sentence. "Pick it up and glue it back together for me." When she said that, Theo felt his blood run cold. "So I'm not even worth as much as a mug your ex gave you?" Theo stared at her in silence. "Because it's from your ex, isn't it? We're about to get married. Are you planning on keeping his stuff around to look at for the rest of your life? You aren't upset about the broken mug. This is about breaking the connection between him and you. Is that it?" Smack. A sharp slap echoed through the room. Luna had hit Theo with a solid open hand, his head snapping to the side. His mind went blank, his ears ringing. Luna's body temperature seemed to drop to freezing. Her hand was trembling and numb as she hissed, "Get out." Theo looked at her in disbelief. "Luna, am I wrong?" he said, then turned and left. Luna crouched down and started picking up the white porcelain shards on the floor. Noticing her hand was still stinging from the slap, she threw the shards she was holding hard onto the ground, shattering the already broken mug into even smaller pieces. Theo ran outside, tripping because he was moving too fast. His palms and knees were scraped and bleeding. He quickly got up. He just wanted to get out of there. He brushed past a tall woman hurriedly leaving. The woman noticed everything, looked down at the set of keys that had fallen to the ground, and was just about to speak up when she turned back to see that Theo had already driven away, leaving only taillights. Theo got home and stood at the door, emptying his pockets. The keys were gone. He leaned against the door, his left cheek still slightly throbbing, but his heart ached even more. After resting for a while, he decided to go back and look for the keys, figuring they must have fallen out when he tripped. As he left the gated community, he was suddenly stopped by a woman. Theo hadn't even gotten a good look at her face. "No flyers needed," he said hoarsely, and tried to walk past her. The woman held out her hand. "You dropped something on the way out." Her palm clearly displayed a set of keys. Theo stopped and looked at the woman. She was gorgeous. Even more beautiful than Luna. Tall, with a cool, elegant, and sophisticated aura that reminded him of a snow queen. The woman's eyes met Theo's, and for a moment, she seemed stunned. Theo took the keys and lowered his head. Thank you. Thank you for bringing them. He pulled out his phone. Venmo you something? The woman waved her hand. No need. See you around. She realized she'd been staring at Theo inappropriately and immediately averted her eyes, then turned and left. Theo stayed in the house for 2 days and did not answer his phone. On the evening of the 3rd day, the doorbell rang. Theo, lying on the bed with no strength left, forced himself up to answer it. Liam, his best friend, stood at the door. He was just about to speak when he saw Theo's gaunt face and immediately frowned with concern. Dude, what's going on? Theo was silent but let Liam in without answering. Liam didn't push it. After getting inside, he cooked Theo a bowl of noodles, and only after Theo finished eating did he ask, what the hell happened? Theo looked sadly at Liam. It was Luna. I accidentally broke a mug her ex gave her, and she slapped me. Liam was stunned. We've all grown up together. How could she put her hands on you? Theo was silent for a moment. She really did. Hearing that, Liam got angry. Everyone knows you two are about to get married. You're probably registering any day now. And she does this? He then noticed the scrapes on Theo's knees. What the hell is this from? Theo lay back on the sofa, closing his eyes. I tripped. After Theo fell asleep, Liam left the house and called Anya. Soon after, Liam arrived at a bar called H-Burn. He barely walked in the door before grabbing a bottle of liquor from the bar and striding into a VIP room. He was a regular there, the staff recognized him. Seeing his aggressive demeanor, no one dared to stop him. Liam pushed open the door to the VIP room and threw the bottle of liquor at Luna. The bottle shattered on the floor by her feet. Anya gasped and stepped between Liam and Luna. What's going on? Today of all days? Liam looked coldly at Luna. What's going on? Ask her what's going on. Luna drained her glass of alcohol, clenching her right hand so tightly that her knuckles turned white. The memory of slapping Theo that day was still vivid. Anya turned to Luna. You really hit Theo? No wonder you've been dragging me out drinking the past few days. How is he? Luna's eyes hardened for a moment, as she replied, what did I say? Luna slowly let go of her right hand. Is he doing okay? Liam glared at her. Why don't you go see for yourself? Hearing that, Luna slowly closed her eyes. Give him some time to calm down. I need some time to calm down too. Then I'll go. Liam suddenly scoffed and nodded. Fine. He turned and walked out. As he left the VIP room, he glanced at Anya. Anya swallowed and said to Luna, I gotta go, or Liam will get mad at me. Theo woke up to the faint scent of something delicious in the air. There was movement in the kitchen, it must be Liam. Anya brought the last plate of steamed fish to the table. Theo, you're awake. Theo rubbed his sore eyes. Anya, you're here too? Anya noticed the slight swelling on his face, thinking that Luna really laid into him, but she didn't mention it. I was afraid Liam would poison you. The meal was silent, with only Theo eating seriously. Anya and Liam only ate a few bites, spending the whole time watching him eat. After he finished, Theo took out a blue velvet box and placed it next to Anya. Could you two please take Luna's engagement ring back to her? Looking at the ring in front of her, Anya asked, You've liked her for so many years. Can you really just end it like that? Hearing that, Theo touched his left cheek. I can't, but she woke me up. If it wasn't for that slap, I might have kept telling myself it was just a mug. That slap shattered all the hope I had for her. Liam and Anya were both good friends with Theo, and this was a situation they couldn't really interfere in. After the two left, Theo closed the door and took a deep breath. Then he picked up his phone and turned it on. Liam had sent him tons of messages. Besides Liam, there were also messages from the cafe staff. His finger hovered over the name pinned at the top of his contact list, wife 3 less than 3. Luna hadn't sent him any messages. The more he looked at the contact name, the more annoyed he became. He immediately unfriended her. From his workspace, he boxed up all the photos of Luna. He hadn't realized how much stuff he had. Early the next morning, he went to the cafe. After graduating, he had opened a fairly romantic coffee shop. Because he was up early, he bought breakfast for his employees. After being MIA for 3 days, his appearance at the cafe surprised everyone. They greeted him one after another. "Boss, where have you been? I was texting you for the last 3 days and getting no response." Theo forced a smile. "Broke up with my girlfriend." The employees were stunned. The boss had been talking about bringing wedding candy for them. The employees all spoke together in dismay as one male employee laughed and said, "That sucks, boss, but don't be sad. It's Wednesday, that hot lady might come to the coffee shop and you'll feel better." Theo chuckled. "What hot lady? You're always thinking about her." Several other employees chimed in, telling him about how there was a very beautiful woman who came to the cafe 3 times a week, always at 8 a.m., always on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. This piqued Theo's curiosity. What kind of woman could they all remember so clearly? Even though he was curious, he wasn't really interested. He ordered a coffee and found a corner seat to watch the people outside the window. He accidentally saw a familiar woman. At that moment, the employee brought Theo his coffee and looked out the window with a bit of excitement. "Boss, look. Look quick. It's her, the pretty lady, right?" Hearing that, Theo jumped slightly. It was her, the woman who had given him the keys downstairs at his apartment complex that day. That day, she had just said, "See you around." So, this was seeing you around. Thinking of this, he said to the employee, "Later, I'll buy her a coffee." The employee grinned mischievously and whispered in his ear, "Boss, you're smooth." Theo smiled wryly. Seeing her walk in from outside, he immediately got up and followed her. As she ordered and prepared to scan the QR code to pay, he quickly put his QR code in front of the scanner. Payment successful. The employee knew it was his boss and suppressed a smile, pretending not to know anything, and just said, "Please wait a moment, ma'am." The woman's hand holding her phone paused. She looked up at the man standing next to her. It was him. Theo smiled. "See you again. Thank you for bringing me the keys the other day." After saying that, he returned to his seat. He was very grateful to her. In his lowest moment, she had made him feel the kindness of a stranger. The woman's eyes followed Theo until he sat down. At that moment, she heard the employee's voice in her ear. "Here is your coffee, ma'am." The woman took the coffee and went to Theo's table. Before she could say anything, she heard him say, "Don't tell me you're going to pay me back." The woman's lips curved into a smile. "Thank you for the coffee," she said, and turned to leave. The afternoon was busy. The cafe closed at 9 p.m. As Theo was cleaning up the cups, a person walked in. "Sorry, we're about to close." He looked up, freezing. It was Luna, holding a small blue square box in her hand. It was the box he had asked Anya to return to her. Luna, her face cold, stared at him intently. Theo pretended to be calm and slowly put the cup in his hand into the cupboard. She put the small square box on the bar. "Theo, what do you mean by returning this to me?" Theo replied coldly, "Don't you understand what I mean? I don't want to marry you anymore." Luna was furious. "You're fighting with me over something so small?" Since when had Theo been so unreasonable? He didn't know if she was revealing her true colors or just angry to the point of talking nonsense. Theo at this point did not want to hear anything, nor to delve into the meaning behind her words. "Is this a small thing? Tell me, what's a big deal?" He couldn't control his emotions. His love for her was worth nothing, and in the end, she said it was a small thing. Seeing Luna's face so dark it could drip water, he laughed, picked up the small blue box, and threw it out the door. Looking at Luna, he pointed to the door. "Get out. Get out of here." The woman who was just about to walk in the door stopped, standing frozen at the door. Luna had never been told to get out like that, and for a moment, she was so angry that her head was spinning. Gritting her teeth, she said, "I came all this way to see how your wounds were doing. I was really stupid," she said, then left the cafe without turning around. She picked up the small blue square box at the door and threw it into the trash can. The woman, still standing at the door, witnessed another incident involving Theo. The last time she met him was when he dropped his keys. This time, he was arguing with his girlfriend. Maybe ex-girlfriend would be more accurate. The woman slowly walked in. "Do you still have any coffee?" Before she could finish her sentence, she saw Theo was looking down, not reacting. Just as she was about to say something, he looked up, his eyes full of resolve. He smiled and asked her, "What would you like?" The woman's voice was very soft and carried the aura of a mature woman. "A cappuccino." Theo shook his head, looking at the woman. "We're out of cappuccino," he said, and took 2 packets of instant coffee from the drawer. "If you want, I'll make you some." The woman looked at the instant coffee in Theo's hand and nodded. He made her the instant coffee, and also took out a slice of cake. He was planning to bring it home to share with his employees. "Why aren't you home yet?" The woman took a sip of the instant coffee. "I just finished working and was a little tired, so I wanted to see if your shop was still open." She paused for a moment, then continued, "I really like the coffee at your shop." Hearing that, Theo smiled. "Thank you for liking it." Then he changed the subject. "I still haven't asked your name, have I?" "Xia Wushan, written, it is a random last name and first name I made up for her." Knowing that she knew it was his turn as well, he introduced himself as well. "I'm Theo." She was busy till such late HRS and also liked his coffee shop. Hearing that, Theo smiled. "Thank you for liking it." Then he changed the subject. Then he grabbed the cake that had just been made ready and was planning to bring it home to share it. He was planning to bring it home to share with his employees with her when the cake on the table had been devoured by her. She went from there and went to him as her gaze turned back. He held the cups to his hands to clear. At his workplace he cleaned up the sink. What should he do now? And went back as she would be taken aback for that he suddenly opened his mouth for her as soon as he would have cleaned the cups with his hands as she was in her zone from earlier. "Can you show me some love and do you require assistance and would like it at your place too?" With that she frowned. "It is something not good, is it for you? As you have to tell me such stuff to get me too?" As Theo had a grave and serious look. After all the commotion and no word back, Theo looked at Wendy and asked, "So, how do you get home, then?" Wendy pressed her car key, and the red Kia across the street flashed its lights twice. Theo nodded and waved goodbye to Wendy. "Drive safe." Before leaving, Wendy leaned out the car window and said to Theo, "Don't lose yourself over love. Love isn't everything." Actually, she didn't want to say any more, knowing the other party wouldn't listen anyway. But today, she couldn't help but stick her nose in. Theo got home from the coffee shop, showered, and wearily collapsed into bed. He pulled out his phone and saw that Liam had sent him 7 or 8 messages half an hour ago. Besides Liam, there were also missed calls. He lay face down on the bed and called Liam back. Liam's concerned voice rang out. "Theo, where are you? Did Luna come to apologize?" Thinking about tonight, Theo rubbed his temples. "She didn't come to apologize. She came to cause trouble. Said hitting me was a small thing, said I was being unreasonable. We're completely done." Liam didn't expect Luna to say such things. Normally, she was arrogant, but whenever her ex came up, she'd get hot-headed. Liam shook his head and asked, "So, you doing okay?" Theo's current state of mind couldn't be described in words. He felt sorry for his years of unrequited love. He should have been heartbroken, but Wendy's appearance had chased away the sadness. Although she had seen him in a terrible state, she hadn't said anything. Sure enough, it was good to have someone to talk to when you were down, to keep you from overthinking. "I'm fine. The more she hurts me, the faster I sober up. Maybe in a few days, I'll be calm." Liam laughed on the other end of the line. "I knew your decision wouldn't change." After talking for a while, he hung up. Theo rubbed his ear, remembering that he hadn't taken his medication today. He immediately got up and poured a glass of warm water. On the other side, at H-Burn Bar, Anya patted her best friend's back and asked, "Didn't you go to apologize? Why didn't Theo forgive you?" Luna kept drinking. Anya stopped her. "Don't just drink. Tell me what happened, so I can lighten the mood a bit." Luna, ignoring her sarcastic remarks, said directly, "I went to ask him why he returned the ring. If he had just said something sweet like before, I might not have gotten so angry and said those things. But he even told me to get out." Anya gave her a look of exasperation. "You hit him, and he's supposed to say sweet things to you? I think Theo has spoiled you rotten. If you don't try to coax him back, that's it." Actually, Anya knew Luna was just saying things out of anger, but she had actually hit Theo. Theo and Liam were close friends, and both were the type of people who, if you made one mistake, you were out. Luna blushed and mumbled, "I thought a few days had passed, and he'd be calm. I thought I could smooth things over today and go register for the wedding as planned. Looks like that has to be postponed." Anya laughed. "Come on, you hit him so hard his face was red. Getting dumped is more likely than getting married." Luna shook her head. "He won't break up. I know how much he likes me." Hearing that, Anya was silent. Sometimes, she really couldn't stand Luna. She had one more thing about Luna that she hadn't told Theo, something that wasn't too important but still hurt people. If Theo ever stopped loving Luna, she would tell him. At 8 a.m. the next morning, Theo arrived at the coffee shop early. He wanted to live each day more fully, to avoid overthinking. As he arrived at the shop, a female employee smiled at him. "Boss, that beautiful woman yesterday was pretty, right?" Another female employee teased, "The boss even paid for her. Looks like she's been approved by the boss." Seeing that, Theo didn't explain. Remembering that someone said Wendy came to the shop every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and today was Thursday, he leaned against the bar and looked at the employees. "Since you guys have said so, I'll buy her a coffee today." Hearing that, the employees chimed in. "We want one too. We don't get this treatment." In this atmosphere, Theo's mood was much better. He pretended to be indifferent and shrugged. "You guys make coffee every day. Can't you drink it whenever you want?" The employees pouted. "We don't want coffee, boss. You're showing favoritism." Hearing that, Theo laughed. "Alright, I'll buy you guys afternoon tea." Hearing them praise him, Theo felt very good. Just because of bringing him the keys and talking to him last night, he was very grateful to Wendy. Buying a few cups of coffee was no problem. After talking to them, he went to the storage room to unpack the newly arrived goods. At 8:20, Wendy arrived at the shop on time. After ordering, she held out her QR code to pay. The employee smiled and said, "Our boss is buying today, ma'am." Wendy unconsciously glanced at the table where Theo was sitting. "So, he's the owner of this coffee shop." An employee making coffee next to her chimed in, "Our boss approves of your looks." Wendy still held out her QR code to pay. "Thanks to the boss's kindness, but let me get it." The employee waved her hand. "Next time our boss comes over, you tell him." "We will," Wendy said to the employee as the employee turned back around. Wendy, reluctantly and annoyed. She knew she had to be shut off in order to pay what happened from last night. As well as the coffee, she had to go to the counter to pay as Theo got a chance to know if he was the same man. Then he got to be the guy that she had been in a few minutes earlier, but Theo came to the rescue when the cups had been there and had a chance to have the cup turned. Wendy took the coffee to the table where Theo was sitting. Yesterday, she sat there for about 5 minutes, seemingly waiting for him, but he didn't come. Not long after, she left. Theo was busy in the storage room until 10 o'clock, feeling a little tired. He returned to the counter and heard an employee say, "That beautiful woman made an exception this morning and sat in the shop for a few minutes." It was right there. The employee pointed to the corner and grinned. "Boss, is she waiting for you?" Theo looked in the direction she pointed, which was the seat he had been sitting in yesterday. He curved his lips and said nothing. The garbage collector outside was emptying the trash can. Thinking about Luna throwing the ring into the trash yesterday, Theo thought, if Luna really picked up the ring in the middle of the night, wouldn't she be clinging on for even longer? But Luna wouldn't do such a thing. In their fight, when her ex was mentioned, she felt wronged and was waiting for him to apologize. He smiled. Just a woman. It's good that all hope is gone. Wendy was right. Love wasn't everything. In the next few days, he was busy at the shop. Though a little tired, he felt full. Occasionally, he thought about Luna, but she didn't appear in front of him, as if she had disappeared. His heart had begun to settle, better than he imagined. Before, when he was in love with her, he even thought he couldn't live without her. But now, thinking about it, that wasn't the case at all. At 9 p.m., the coffee shop was empty. He turned off the lights, preparing to go home early. Just as he was about to lock the door, a familiar voice came from behind. Off work already? He turned around and looked at the woman standing behind him, Wendy. Good evening, Wendy. Wendy replied, Good evening. Then, she raised her hand and held out the cake to him. Theo was puzzled. What's this? Wendy smiled. I was going to pay you back, but you wouldn't accept it, so I wanted to buy you a cake. She knew he appreciated her kindness, but doing it this way made her feel awkward. Theo also smiled. Thanks, Wendy. Then let's call it even. Next time, I'll get money from you. He was taking the cake and was gonna return it later. Why I am not telling them that this black swan cake is good enough for her to drink 10 cups with her. And would like it for her today. So, he decided to share the cake right away. Come in and sit for a bit? Wendy didn't refuse, saying politely, Then, I'll bother you. Theo turned on the lights and opened the express delivery box he had just received. He poured 2 cups of tea from the tea sets he just purchased and gave it to Wendy. He opened the cake box. This swan cake. I don't know where to start. Seeing him flailing over the swan, Wendy said, Let me. She took the knife from his hand and quickly cut the cake, then arranged it on a plate. As she was cutting the cake, he asked, Did you just get off work? Wendy shook her head. No, I didn't have any classes this afternoon. Theo took a bite of the cake. He looked up at her. You came here just to give me the cake? Wendy pursed her lips. She was a little hesitant, though she didn't want to admit it, it was the truth. After a few seconds, she nodded. If I didn't give you something, I'd feel bad. Theo smiled brightly. Oh, I didn't know you thought that way. Wendy quickly waved her hand. No need to apologize. I ate your cake that day. Paying you back was what I should do. Theo curved his lips and changed the subject. Wendy, are you a teacher? She nodded. Yes, a university professor. Theo nodded. No wonder you give me a familiar feeling. Wendy looked at him questioningly. He quickly explained, My dad is also a university professor. Looking at him, you can feel his strictness, but he's actually very kind. You're also very gentle, just a little cold. As he spoke, he finished the cake on the plate. He was a little full and couldn't drink any more tea. Wendy was still thinking about Theo's impression of her. She had only taken a few bites of the cake in front of her. He lowered his head and covered his mouth to yawn. Seeing this, Wendy said, Let me clear the table. After clearing the table, she asked. Let me take the cake and come with you. He had taken the wheel and was waving at Wendy from over there. Goodbye. Wendy replied. Goodbye. The general was good as he didn't have to face Lucy at the area around the apartments as it would have been better. He had just turned on his turn signal, preparing to drive into the apartment complex, when Luna appeared in front of his car. He stepped on the brake and parked the car on the side of the road. Opening the car door, he got out. Seeing that he was calm today, not as irritable as last time, Luna breathed a sigh of relief. What took you so long? Luna's voice was gentle, not at all like they had fought. For a moment, it made him feel like they were back to normal, but he couldn't pretend nothing had happened. Just got off work? Luna reached out to take his hand, but he dodged it. She felt his distance but thought he was just being sulky and didn't mind. Didn't you usually get off work by 9 at the latest? Why are you getting home at 10 now? He replied, a friend came to the shop. We hung out for a while. Luna was finally completely relieved. She thought he had stopped being angry. A smile bloomed on her beautiful face. She knew Theo loved her deeply. Even if they fought, it wouldn't last too long. Moreover, she knew the limits. Sulking a little was fine. She pointed to his building. Don't stand here talking. Let's go upstairs and sit for a while. We're about to get married. I'm planning on registering in the next few days. Then, we won't need to differentiate whose friends are who anymore. Theo looked in the direction she was pointing, raised his head and looked for a few seconds, then looked away. Finally, he looked at Luna. Let's just drop it. Luna was stunned. We're about to get married. What do you mean? Theo looked at Luna and said calmly, I've already made it clear to you last time. I don't want to marry you anymore. Besides, didn't you throw the ring in the trash? Since that's the case, what are you doing here today? Hearing that, Luna gaped and frowned. You didn't pick up the ring? Theo looked at her with exasperation. You threw it away. Why would I pick it up? That's ridiculous. If you don't have anything else, I'm going home. He was just about to leave when Luna grabbed his wrist, her eyes cold. A little bit of a tantrum is like a spice. Too much, and it's ruined. Saying that, her beautiful eyes stared intently at him. Theo raised his left hand, intending to slap Luna. She reacted quickly, pulling her hand back and taking half a step back, only being lightly grazed across the face. Luna's face was frighteningly cold. You want to hit me? He laughed coldly. Didn't I miss? Your slap last time was real. Do you think we can still be together after fighting like that? Why do you keep bringing this up? Luna said righteously, isn't it because you broke my mug first? Hearing that, he didn't know what to say, completely disappointed in Luna. He couldn't say anything and felt ridiculous and heartbroken. What kind of person had he been in love with? In the end, he only asked one question. Do you really not understand why I don't want to be with you anymore? Get out of here and don't appear in front of me again. If you're nostalgic, then continue to be nostalgic for your ex. Oh, no. Not ex. Saying that, he went home and lay on the bed. The room was silent. For the first time, he couldn't say anything to Luna, didn't even want to argue with her. She didn't understand why, because he didn't understand her. The words she said to him were like pieces on a negotiating table, avoiding the important content and exaggerating irrelevant things. Luna knew where she was wrong. She just wouldn't admit it, wanting to wait for him to bow his head first, and then she would bring it up. But this time, she was wrong. Putting her hands on him was his bottom line. No matter what she did, it would be useless. He stood by the window, looking out at the dark, suffocating night. Fortunately, the bright moon was hanging high. Although it couldn't illuminate everything, his heart no longer felt so heavy. The next morning, he didn't go to the coffee shop. He tossed and turned until 10 o'clock before falling asleep, only to be awakened by the phone. Grabbing the phone groggily, he answered it. It was Liam calling. Hello? Are you still not up? I heard you've been going to the coffee shop every morning for the past few days, working hard all day. I didn't see you at the shop today. He rolled over. I overslept today. Didn't go. Liam suspected he wasn't in a good mood, probably because of Luna again. It wasn't convenient to say it directly, so he could only ask indirectly, do you want me to bring you lunch? Said, tonight, Dad can't eat with you. Some old friends are getting together. But Theo said that tonight, Mom and Dad will be eating sweet and sour ribs and crispy pork belly for him instead. Theo said with slight dissatisfaction, I want to eat too. Dad, Mike, chuckled helplessly. Alright, I'll make it for you next time. It's almost evening now. Cook something for yourself. He hung up the phone. Theo received a transfer of money from his dad. The note said, for sweet and sour ribs and crispy pork belly. Of course, he accepted it and drove out of the gated community. Accidentally passing by the entrance of State U, he suddenly saw several young men and women coming out of the school gate. He stopped the car across the street, lowered the car window, and rested his arms on the windowsill, looking out. Sure enough, seeing pretty boys and girls did a lot for his mood. It was now a little after 4 p.m. He watched for about 7 or 8 minutes as groups of students came out. He suddenly remembered his own college days. As he was intently looking out, he suddenly heard a familiar voice in his ear. Theo? Hearing that, he quickly turned his head and saw the woman standing in front of his car. It was Wendy. He was stunned and pulled his arm back. Wendy, what a coincidence. What are you doing here? Wendy was on her way home and saw this car looked familiar. Looking closely at the license plate, she realized it was him. She pointed at State U, I work here. Theo turned his head and looked at the school gate, embarrassed. Oh, really? She looked at him questioningly. What are you doing here? Hearing that, he suddenly felt flustered. Was he supposed to tell her he was checking out the pretty boys and girls at her school? He chose a different way of saying it. My parents live nearby. I was passing by and saw these students full of life, so I took a few more looks. Wendy looked in the direction he was looking. Just then, a male student, looking like he hadn't fully woken up, came out of the school gate. Oh, is that so? Theo nodded. Yeah, that's it. Wendy looked toward the school gate. They really are full of life. She changed the subject. Are you going to your parents' house? Theo shook his head. My parents went out to eat. I have to go home and cook for myself. He paused for a moment, slowly looking at Wendy. Wendy, wanna eat together? Wendy pursed her lips, silent for 2 seconds, then agreed. Okay. My car is in front. I'll follow you later. As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly heard 2 or 3 male and female voices speaking in unison. Professor, goodbye. Theo turned his head and saw the students outside the car window. At that moment, the 3 students also looked at him. Theo suddenly felt awkward. The eyes of those students were too clear, carrying a bit of teasing. Wendy nodded and waved goodbye to them. Goodbye. As he drove away, the 3 students were still laughing and waving. Theo gave a forced smile in response. Before leaving, he even heard the 3 students say, this person is so handsome, and that one is so beautiful. Theo slowed down, intentionally waiting for Wendy, seeing her car appear in the rearview mirror. At that moment, he sped up. Just now, he was so busy being embarrassed that he didn't realize the students were calling her professor. Theo looked ahead, unable to help but be amazed. Could he have heard wrong? Wendy looked to be about his age, 26 years old, yet she was a professor at this age? His dad didn't get his professorship until he was 32, and he already thought that was pretty great. How amazing was Wendy? Or was she actually in her 30s, just looking younger? Tonight, he'd go home and search online for State U professor in their 20s. With such sensational news, the school must have reported it widely. It probably wouldn't be hard to find her. Theo chose a Chinese restaurant that he frequented. He always felt the sweet and sour ribs there were very delicious. He stopped the car in the parking lot and waited for Wendy. Wendy got out of the car, looked at the name of the restaurant, and asked, "Is this place okay?" She nodded. Yeah. Then, the 2 walked side by side into the restaurant. The waiter led them to a table by the window and respectfully handed them an iPad to order. Theo introduced to Wendy, the sweet and sour ribs and crispy pork belly here are very good. he said, marking those 2 dishes on the iPad. After choosing 4 dishes he liked, he put down the iPad and let Wendy choose. Wendy quickly chose a few dishes she liked. Soon after, she also put the iPad down. The waiter noted the dishes and said, "Please wait a moment," before leaving. Theo suddenly felt Wendy was not pretentious at all, very minimalist, doing what needed to be done, not saying a word more. Thinking of this, he asked, "Just now, at the school gate, I heard them calling you professor." Wendy raised her eyebrows slightly. "Yeah, I just got tenured last year." Hearing that, Theo couldn't help but praise, "This really surprised me." It was now dinner time and the restaurant was gradually becoming more crowded. After the waiter brought the food, Theo introduced to her, "Try the sweet and sour ribs here. They're really good." Hearing that, Wendy picked up a small piece of rib and put it in her mouth to taste, nodding. "It's all right." Theo then pointed to the crispy pork belly. "And the crispy pork belly too." Wendy picked up a piece of crispy pork belly and tasted it, still nodding. "It's all right." Being affirmed, Theo curved his lips with satisfaction. "I think so too." Then, he lowered his head and ate seriously. During the meal, the two didn't talk much, only occasionally chatting a few sentences. Wendy was the type of person who didn't talk much but didn't make others feel awkward. So, eating with her wasn't stressful. After finishing eating, the two stood up and went to the cashier. Wendy quickly took out her phone. Seeing that, Theo stopped her, chuckling. "Consider this meal my dad's treat." Saying that, he put his QR code up to be scanned. Payment successful. Leaving the restaurant, Theo explained to Wendy, "I wasn't planning on eating at my parents' place today. They went out to gather with friends and transferred me money, like they were sending me away. Since I already ate, consider that you ate with me." "Oh, right, thanks for the cake yesterday." Wendy smiled. "Then, I thank you for treating me to dinner today." "No problem." Theo's mood was pretty good. He didn't feel as pressured as he did last night. He looked at his watch. It was already 7 o'clock. He turned to Wendy. "Wendy, go home and rest early." Wendy nodded. "Okay, drive safely." Theo got into the car and waved goodbye to her, watching her drive away. After a few minutes into Wendy got into her car, she felt someone was staring at them. She had never met Theo before in her life. She was wondering who that was and went to the passenger front seat as they got there and pulled on over. The woman was standing not far away and looked vaguely familiar. It seemed like the woman who had the conflict with Mr. Theo at the coffee shop the other day. It seemed like his ex-girlfriend. She only glanced at her before starting the car and leaving. Luna's face was dark. She and a friend came to eat, and as soon as she got out of the car, she saw Theo and a strange woman coming out of the restaurant. Although the two didn't have any intimate actions beyond the norm, she still felt very uncomfortable. How come she didn't know Theo had a friend like this? The friend, standing not far away, looked a bit annoyed. "How long have you been standing there watching? That's your soon-to-be husband. Go ask him. He won't ignore you." Those words stabbed right into Luna's heart. She yelled, "Shut up. It's none of your business." The friend shrugged, as if she'd been shot. Luna took out her phone and called Anya. "I'm going to ask you something. Recently, has Theo become acquainted with a woman? Not very beautiful." Anya scoffed. "Luna, are you delusional? There's no woman. Today, he only ate with us. Otherwise, he's either working at the coffee shop or sleeping at home. Where would he find the time to get to know a woman?" Luna interrupted, "I saw it." Anya said, "Oh, drawn out, seeing him eating with a woman? He can eat with whoever he wants. It's normal. Unless you saw them going home together. That would be big news." Luna was no longer as gloomy as before. "Who pissed you off? Today, you're talking like a machine gun." Anya was half joking, half serious. Thinking about Luna hitting Theo over a broken mug, she had managed to refrain from scolding her. Being dumped was already lucky. How dare she ask who pissed her off? But Theo eating with another woman was really very strange. She also knew it was definitely just a simple relationship, nothing more. But at least it could piss Luna off. That was also good. Luna, annoyed, said, "Whatever. Bye." Anya hung up the phone and immediately sent a text message to Liam. Theo ate with another woman, and Luna saw it. She's not gonna die from anger, right? Liam laughed. Serves her right. I can already picture Luna's gloomy face. Getting home, Theo showered and just lay down on the bed when the phone suddenly showed an incoming call. It was a strange number, but Theo's first reaction was that it was Luna. By now, he had nothing left to say to Luna. It turned out the ultimate climax was silence, even indifference. Answering her phone would just be annoying himself. That phone number kept calling. He neither answered nor hung up. He texted Anya. Can you tell Luna not to call me anymore? I don't want to talk to her. Originally, he wanted to ask Liam to tell Luna, but he worried Liam would do something impulsive, so he left it to Anya. Anya replied with a cheerful expression, LOL. She's probably calling to interrogate you. How dare you eat with another woman, so angry she's gonna die. Theo looked at the message Anya sent, staring at it for a moment. How did Luna know he ate with someone else? He asked, how does she know? Anya replied, no idea, but when she called me, it was around 7 o'clock. Must have seen it while eating. 7 o'clock is about when you and Wendy were leaving the restaurant. She probably saw you. If Luna wasn't so arrogant and hadn't just fought with you and was waiting for you to apologize, she probably would have rushed over to interrogate you already. Theo texted Anya, telling her to tell Luna not to call again. Anya replied, got it. Exiting the conversation, he was about to put down the phone, turn off the lights, and go to sleep when he suddenly remembered something about Wendy. He opened the search engine and typed State U Xia W, and the search results already showed a name. Xia Wushan. He clicked on it and only saw a photo taken from behind. He confirmed that it was Wendy. In the school's profile, there was a separate article about her. The youngest professor in the Department of Literature. According to this age, she should be 28 years old this year. But searching for a long time, he couldn't find any photos taken head-on. Most were photos taken from the side or from behind. There wasn't much personal information, mostly her scholarly essays and academic monographs. He softly read. Xia Wushan, like others, gives off a sense of profoundness. She is a very outstanding person. Though he had met her a few times, they hadn't even told each other their names. Consider them friends who are fated to meet. After reading Wendy's profile, he turned off the phone. Afraid of being disturbed by the phone, he switched it to silent mode, then went to sleep. The next morning, he woke up and made himself a hearty breakfast. After eating, he went to the coffee shop. As he arrived at the coffee shop, he discovered that Liam was also there. He sat down across from him, greeting, "Good morning, Liam." Liam pushed a portion of breakfast in front of him. "I thought you would be at the shop early this morning." Although he had already eaten breakfast, he still ate 2 more bites of the breakfast Liam had brought. Liam sat up straight, placing both hands on the table, saying, "Yesterday, my parents went out to gather with friends. I heard that at the table, Uncle Mike mentioned your and Luna's registration for marriage." Liam knew Luna's parents really liked Theo. Similarly, his parents also really liked Luna. Now that this had happened, it was very difficult. Hearing that, Theo waved his hand. "It's Luna's fault. They won't blame me. I'll wait for them to ask and then figure it out." Liam slowly nodded, as if remembering something. He laughed, saying, "At 8 o'clock, I was planning on sitting at that table." Saying that, he pointed to the table by the window in the corner. Theo looked in the direction he pointed. It was the seat he usually sat in. He continued, "Guess what? There was an extremely beautiful woman sitting at that table, drinking coffee. I have to say, she was ridiculously beautiful. I'm not exaggerating. She had the face of a queen. Looking at her, you could tell she had a very high IQ. But she only sat there for 5 minutes, exactly 5 minutes, then left. Hearing him describe her, Theo knew immediately who it was. It was Wendy. Liam looked at him with a surprised expression. You two know each other? Theo nodded, then told Liam about how he met her. How he ran out of Luna's house, fell at the door, and dropped his keys. You don't know how to tonight. I guess I won't be eating those. His parents seemed a bit surprised. Shawan, what's going on between you and Luna? Theo pressed his lips tightly together, losing all appetite. He put down his chopsticks and lowered his head. We broke up. Hearing him say that, his parents were stunned. Then, Mom, Sarah, frowned. Did you initiate the breakup? Theo looked at his mom and nodded. Yes, I did. Hearing that, his mom's expression changed. His dad, Mike, quickly spoke up. Theo, couples argue. That's normal. Relationships are strengthened through those arguments. Don't be hasty and regret it later. Breaking up over something small isn't worth it. He sighed after saying that. Theo's throat felt dry. I won't regret it. His mom looked at him angrily. What good does it do for you to say you won't regret it? I don't understand. What could you and Luna have argued about to cause a breakup? You two have grown up together since you were kids. What could she have done to you that you're being so stubborn about it? And old man Luke and Aunt Taylor treat you so well. What's not to like about Luna? Theo was silent. He knew his parents would react strongly to his breakup, but he didn't expect them to scold him like this. Those words made his heart tremble. They didn't ask anything, only blamed him. Why are you being so stubborn about it? Is that why you deserve to be hit by her? He was reminded of the scene of Luna hitting him that day. Moreover, his parents were praising Luna nonstop. Hearing him mention being hit, his parents were stunned. Theo looked at them silently. I just accidentally broke a mug her ex gave her. She got angry at me and even hit me. She repeatedly came to find me, saying that being hit was a small thing, saying I was always bringing it up. Being with her wasn't about her wanting what was best for me, but about her dragging me down to hell. Saying that, he stood up and pushed open the door, running out of the house. As he entered the elevator, he heard his parents calling his name. His dad sighed and pulled his wife back. He doesn't want to see us right now. Let's not provoke him anymore. His mom worriedly started crying, blaming herself. Why did I speak so well of Luna? Why didn't I ask them why they broke up? Thinking about the words she had just said, she felt even more heartache. I have to ask the Lukes how they're raising their daughter. She took out her phone, intending to call them, but her dad stopped her. Shawan is afraid we'll go and cause trouble for the Lukes, which is why he didn't tell us. Let's call Liam first and ask about the situation. The phone connected, and his dad asked, Liam, do you have time to talk right now? Liam, receiving a call from Theo's dad, wasn't surprised at all. Yes, Uncle Mike. Just ask. Do you know about Theo and Luna? He guessed Liam probably knew something. Yesterday, they had gathered for dinner, and Liam's parents were present. When Luna was mentioned, they gave forced smiles. At the time, he hadn't paid attention, but now it seemed like they must have known something. Liam only said the main points, then added, Theo really liked Luna. He's not in a good mood about the breakup. He's been adjusting his mood very well these past few days. You and Aunt Sarah shouldn't blame him. No one is more heartbroken than he is. Hearing that, his dad sighed. Liam immediately understood what he meant. Okay, Uncle Mike, I'll go see how Theo is doing. You and Aunt Sarah shouldn't worry. His dad quickly said, Thank you, Liam. He hung up the phone. His mom said to his dad, I don't care. My son can't be wronged. She took out her phone, intending to call Luna's mom. This time, his dad understood the situation and was also very angry. He didn't stop his wife. On the other side, Theo got out of the elevator, opened the car door, and sat in the driver's seat. The bitterness, resentment, and lack of understanding filled his heart. He didn't understand why it had turned out like this. Clearly, he hadn't done anything wrong, yet everyone was blaming him. He placed both hands on the steering wheel, his hands trembling. The sound of a car horn rang in his ear, but he didn't pay attention. A moment later, the car window was suddenly tapped twice. Theo turned his head and saw a familiar face appear before him. It was Wendy. He opened the car door and got out of the car. Wendy saw that the corners of his eyes were red. This was the third time she had seen him in so much pain, as if he was about to fall apart. A gust of wind could blow him away. She reached out her slender arm and hugged him. Theo stiffened, burying his head in her shoulder, sobbing loudly. Wendy couldn't help but feel heartache. Her arms dangled, tightening slightly, then slowly placed on his back. She wanted to pat him a few times, but thinking that the two of them were just fated to meet and didn't even know each other's names, she eventually let her arms fall. Suddenly, she heard him say, "Wendy, can you marry me?" He was just being impulsive, wanting to get revenge on Luna, to let her know that he couldn't live without her. Her parents had even mentioned marriage registration, praising Luna endlessly, so he would marry someone else. If him hugging Wendy had already shocked her, now, him saying this shocked her even more. Wendy stood rooted to the spot, stunned for a long time before coming back to her senses. She slowly pulled his hands away, seeing his red eyes. She felt a bit reluctant but said seriously, "You can't do that. You can't get married to someone you've only met a few times out of impulse, a stranger whose name you don't even know." Theo's head was spinning. He couldn't hear anything else, only that Wendy didn't agree. He thought, "I guess so. Who would be like me, marrying a stranger for no reason?" Then, "If you'll excuse me," he stepped back, wanting to get into the car, but Wendy pulled him back. She sighed inwardly. "How can you drive in this state? Let me take you home." Wendy understood what his words meant. If she didn't agree, then he was going to ask another stranger if they wanted to marry him. Theo said, "Thank you," then sat in the passenger seat. Wendy looked at her car parked across the street. She sat in the driver's seat of his car, started the engine, and drove him home. Last time, she brought him his keys. She remembered the way. It wasn't far from the coffee shop. At this time, Theo slowly said, "My parents really like Luna. Breaking up with her. They didn't ask for the reason, only assumed it was my fault. 10 years of feelings, and I just broke a mug her ex gave her. She made such a fuss." He spoke softly, only wanting to vent. If he didn't keep it in, he would feel very uncomfortable. Wendy heard every word clearly. After a moment, Wendy spoke, her voice not loud or soft, but something that wasn't. "You shouldn't use your marriage to get revenge on someone else. You should get to know that person well. To put it bluntly, marrying someone you don't get along with is like hanging yourself. She'd think you were exercising." Hearing her say that, Theo thought for a moment. It seemed she was right. Stopping the car in front of the gated community, seeing his state, Wendy couldn't help but worry. After hesitating for a moment, she said, "I'll take you upstairs." Theo nodded. The two entered his house. He changed into slippers and sat on the sofa, his voice weak. "Thank you for bringing me home." Wendy looked at him. Seeing him close his eyes, it seemed like he had fallen asleep. The phone in her bag vibrated. She immediately took it out, pressed the answer button, and went to the balcony to answer the phone. A woman's voice rang in her ear. "Wendy, where are you? You said we were going to have dinner together, but where did you go?" "I have something to do." "You eat by yourself." "My car is on the side of the road." "You drive it to get dinner. After you're done eating, pick me up tonight." Before the other party could say anything, Wendy continued, "I'll transfer you the money for whatever you eat." The other end of the line laughed. "Okay, call me tonight, and I'll come get you." She hung up the phone. Wendy looked at Theo sleeping on the sofa and walked in from the balcony, going to the kitchen. She opened the refrigerator and looked inside, taking out a few things from the storage compartment. There was also a bag of ribs. She took those out too. She took off her black trench coat, intending to hang it on the chair, but seeing Theo sleeping, she gently draped the coat over him. Rolling up her shirt sleeves, she went into the kitchen. Theo slept for about 20 minutes, smelling a delicious scent in the air. He thought Liam and Anya had come. Rubbing his eyes, he walked into the kitchen. Not seeing anyone yet, he called out. Looking closely, it wasn't them. He touched his throat. Wendy? Are you cooking? You're awake? Wendy, having just finished cooking, was planning to leave. She guessed that he had been scolded by his parents and definitely hadn't eaten, so she planned to cook something and leave, not expecting him to wake up. Wendy looked at him. The food is ready. I'm leaving. Theo looked at the dishes displayed on the table. In the middle was the sweet and sour ribs. The air was filled with the sweet and sour scent. Wendy, aren't you eating? He turned his head and looked at Wendy, who was wearing her coat. Wendy looked at him, seeing him go into the kitchen, take out 2 pairs of chopsticks and 2 bowls. He turned his head and looked at her. Let's eat. Wendy stood rooted to the spot, watching him put out the bowls and chopsticks, then walked to the dining table. I just took a few things from the refrigerator at random. Theo forced a smile. Thank you. I was planning on cooking these dishes tonight anyway. He picked up a rib and put it in his bowl. It's pretty good. Wendy, you're a really good cook. Wendy's lips curved slightly into a hard-to-detect smile. Perhaps it was because he was talking to Wendy that his mood was no longer as heavy as before. Initially, he had no appetite, but now he was truly hungry. His pace of eating was also faster. Wendy glanced at him, seeing him focused on eating. He sensed her gaze, looked up at her, and blinked his dry eyes while swallowing the rice in his mouth, asking, Am I eating too fast? Wendy shook her head, averting her gaze, bowing her head to eat. No, it's just that I saw you were thinner than the first time I met you. Eat a little more. Theo said oh, and nodded. Okay, I'll eat a little more. Then, so Luna won't get a chance to make me sad again. Hearing him still answering her questions, Wendy laughed. In the end, Theo finished the plate of sweet and sour ribs she had made. After eating, he put the bowls and chopsticks in the dishwasher. As he turned around, Wendy had already wiped the table and placed the vase back in the middle of the table, casually adjusting the angle of the vase. Theo thanked Wendy. Wendy, thank you for cooking for me today. Wendy wiped her hands with a paper towel. It's nothing. Then, she looked up at him. If there's nothing else, then I'll be going. Theo said, Okay, drive carefully. He was planning to see her downstairs, but Wendy stopped him. You should rest. I can go down myself. She stood at the door, paused for a moment, turned around, and said, Theo, don't just easily ask a strange woman if she wants to get married, okay? Theo nodded, a little embarrassed. Okay, I understand. Wendy wanted to say a few more words, but she felt she shouldn't meddle in other people's affairs. Then, I'm going. She opened the door and walked out, casually closing the door behind her. After exiting the elevator, she lowered her head and sent the address to her friend, telling her to come pick her up. Liam and Anya brushed past her. Anya suddenly stopped, looking at Wendy standing outside the entrance of the gated community. Liam looked in the direction she was looking. What are you looking at? Anya turned around. A woman with an extremely beautiful figure. I couldn't see her face. Just now, as she walked past me, I saw her in profile and thought she was someone I had met at a wine party the other day. Liam hadn't seen her face, so he didn't pay attention. The two pressed the elevator button and went straight up to the 9th floor. They rang the doorbell. Liam said, I wonder if Theo is awake. Just as he finished speaking, the door opened. Theo opened the door for the two of them to enter. Why are you two here so late? Anya handed him the lunchbox and teased, afraid you'd starve to death at home. He took the lunchbox. Thank you. It's so late, and you're still coming over. He put the lunchbox on the table, poured water for the two of them, then sat down. Liam softly asked, when you called my parents, I told them everything. He felt very guilty. Aunt Sarah is usually very calm. Hearing that Luna hit you, she cried a lot. I've really never seen Aunt Sarah like that. Anya also chimed in. It's all Luna's fault. Liam laughed. If Luna knew you were badmouthing her behind her back, Anya shrugged. I didn't say anything bad about her to her face. Theo laughed. I don't blame my parents. At that time, my mood was a bit terrible, agitated. Hearing me say that, they were relieved. Liam looked at the clock. It was already 7:30. You should eat first. Theo waved his hand. But I already ate. The two of you came over less than 5 minutes after I had just finished cleaning the table. Liam stared blankly, staring intently at his face. In this situation, how could he even cook for himself? Don't tell me, who did you eat with? Theo didn't know what to say for a moment. After I ran out of my parents' house, Wendy took me home and even cooked for me. With just that one sentence, Liam and Anya asked continuously, Wendy? Who is Wendy? Why did she take you home? Why did she cook for you? Theo looked at the two of them seriously. She's the one who picked up my keys and brought them back to me. You saw her at the coffee shop this morning, right? Oh, that Wendy? Liam changed the subject. Are you too close? Theo shook his head. I can't say we're close. Consider us friends who are fated to meet. We haven't even told each other our names, let alone exchanged phone numbers. Hearing that, Anya seemed to remember something. Last time, Luna called me, saying you were eating with a woman. Was that her too? Theo nodded. Yes, that was her. Because she gave me a cake the other day, I ran into her at the school gate yesterday, so I treated her to dinner. Once, I rested my arms on the car window, checking out the pretty boys and girls at the school gate, and she suddenly appeared, asking me why I was there. I was embarrassed and didn't dare tell the truth. It felt like I was caught red-handed, so suffocating. Liam couldn't help but laugh. What did you say? Theo scratched his head. Of course, I said it in a positive way. I said I was looking at the students, full of life. The problem was that, in that scenario and her finding out I had just split and all of a sudden meeting a woman seemed weird, that was why it was weird. She said nonchalantly, they really are full of life. This time, it was Anya's turn to laugh. At this time, Theo also looked at the two of them with a blank expression. You two are being too much. Liam cleared his throat, taking a deep breath. Unable to restrain himself, he started laughing again. Okay, I won't laugh anymore. Well, we're going. You should rest early. Okay. Theo saw the two of them downstairs, watching them get into the car and waving goodbye. Drive carefully tonight. He took out his phone, looked at his contact list, and called his parents. His mom answered immediately. Sarah said worriedly, Shawan, have you eaten? It wasn't good of Mom not to ask about the reason, the first time. His mom was hurriedly explaining to him like this. Theo was a bit surprised. It's okay, Mom. At that time, my mood was a bit terrible, agitated, so I ran out of the house. It's really okay. I'm fine now. I ate. Tonight, Liam and Anya also brought me dinner. It's okay. That's good, that's good. His mom said repeatedly, feeling relieved in her heart. The two chatted for a long time before hanging up. Theo put down the phone, thinking about how, before, when he was in a relationship with Luna, other than the titles of boyfriend and girlfriend, everything else was pretty much the same as before. Birthdays, presents for festivals, no actions that went too far. It could be said to be a pure relationship, even more pure. Perhaps it couldn't even be called a dating relationship, just bearing the name of a lover. She only treated him as a brother. Even after becoming lovers, it was as if she had the right to receive his care as a matter of course. His close friends had all witnessed Luna's previous love, when she was with her ex, to be hating on the one who took her and have been wanting Theo all along, and she even has had a lot of other lovers as well, that was as well and more so, but still no one. Recalling things about Luna, Theo felt a bit relieved. Being with Luna was no different from bringing trouble upon himself. Before it was even 10 o'clock, he felt sleepy. He turned off the lights and went to sleep. On the other side, Wendy lay on the bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. She recalled the times she had met Theo. Though it was said they were fated to meet, it was more than that. The scene of him with red eyes, asking her if she could marry him, appeared in her head. At that time, she had almost agreed, but she clearly knew he was only saying that in a fit of anger. It seemed he wanted to get revenge on someone. The more Wendy thought about it, the more irritated she became. An idea kept swirling around in her head, occupying her thoughts. Her life had always followed the rules. She suddenly wanted to be impulsive once. After making this decision, she gradually fell asleep. She had a nightmare. After sleeping for less than 3 hours, she woke up, holding her household registration book. Today, it was raining heavily. She took an umbrella and went out, pushing open the car door. Walking on the street with the umbrella, she thought to herself, in this weather, Theo probably won't go out, right? If I don't see him, then it proves that it was just a matter of being fated to meet again. If it was a matter of being fated to meet again, then just ignore him. After all, he's just a passerby. This thought should also vanish. She was standing downstairs, not knowing how long she had been standing there. She was thinking a lot in her heart. Passerby. The rain didn't stop, even showing a tendency to get worse. The rain got even heavier. Looking up at the sky, it was still gloomy, as if implying that this impulsive thought should disappear. This morning, Theo hadn't planned on going to the coffee shop, but because he had gone to bed early last night, he woke up early today. He made himself a hearty breakfast. Before putting the breakfast in the oven, he tidied up the room. Coincidentally, he also went downstairs to throw out the trash. He realized he hadn't brought an umbrella. But he didn't go back to get it. It was just a few steps anyway. A hero wasn't afraid of the waves. He got out of the elevator and walked outside, suddenly stopping for a few seconds. He swore he would never forget this scene, Wendy, holding a black umbrella, standing in the rain. Her whole person seemed to blend into the rain, looking extremely lonely. He hurriedly ran outside, calling, "Wendy." Wendy raised her eyebrows slightly, seeing him running toward her in the rain. He smiled and waved at her, running through the rain, asking, "Wendy, why are you here?" Seeing Wendy, Theo suspected that something had happened this morning. Why would she be standing downstairs at his house so early? Could it be because yesterday, he had abruptly asked her to marry him, and she was afraid he would be confused today, so she came here early in the morning? If that was truly the case, she was so kind. Thinking that, he continued, "It's cold outside, go inside first." Wendy said nothing, following him into the elevator. In the elevator, she said, "I came to check on you." After saying that, the elevator doors opened. She put her umbrella by the door and walked into the house. "Thank you, Wendy, for coming to check on me so early. I'm fine now." She was so kind. He felt a bit touched. Then, he took a dry towel from the house and gave it to Wendy. "Wendy, dry off." Next, he said, "I'm making breakfast. Have you eaten?" "I made a lot. Let's eat together." Saying that, he went into the kitchen, taking the breakfast out of the oven and also making 2 bowls of wonton soup. He carried them to the table. Wendy glanced at the table, fried buns, wonton soup, toast, and also a plate of fruit. "Let's eat." He handed a bowl of rice to Wendy. She took it. "Thank you." Theo smiled. "Wendy, I should be thanking you." For braving the rain so early in the morning to check on me. Wendy replied, "Didn't you come down?" Theo looked at her questioningly. "So, if I hadn't come down, you wouldn't have come up here?" Wendy nodded. "Yeah." Theo laughed. "I'm fine now, really. Yesterday, I was indeed impulsive. Everything you said was right. I'm slowly changing myself. Occasionally being impulsive and rebellious." Hearing that, Wendy slightly nodded. Then, she introduced herself. "My name is Wendy, from Y City, 28 years old, a university professor." Usually, she only said she was a teacher. Today, she said she was a university professor, taking this self-introduction more seriously. Theo's lips curved. "I know." Wendy raised her head to look at him. "I know? So, I am the most young person and beautiful faculty at the east area of the campus that there is, and I even read and studied about you. The school wrote a special profile on you. There are plenty of things that there is and here and all to not be concerned of. Wendy even took the things that you had there and were very concerned about you." Theo thought that Wendy had been so lucky and to be very careful. Theo was wanting and getting some things taken from there, and those items may or may not. "My name is Theo Luke, also from Y City, 26 years old, the owner of a coffee shop." Seeing there was only that with that statement. You don't hear her like that or even more, but that is good for yourself with that. Wendy muttered his name to herself several times. After finishing breakfast, the two sat chatting for a while. Theo again looked Wendy up and down, unable to help but curiously ask, "Wendy, what are you planning on doing today?" Wendy didn't say her purpose, only clearing the dishes on the table. "Should I put everything in the kitchen?" "No need, let me do it." Theo stood up to clear the dishes, so Wendy had to stand up and wipe the table. When he came out, the dining table had already been cleared. "Thank you." Wendy handed him a jug, so she started her work from home. She started her work again and started as they had been there before. After filling the coffee cup out of the coffee machine. She had gotten the coffee so quick with what she was doing. "I am so very sorry." Then, she went straight over there and gave him a hug. "You know what is to come in this one. I am sorry is not what is to be saying. You have to say your name. As it is so very nice to meet you." Theo looked over there and felt that would not be appropriate at this current time. Are things what you can do that are really important? And was looking over there to the best of their ability for the stuff. There are lots of more and things of what we are to be seeing. Theo saw them outside and there seemed to have been lots of stuff. Well, not lots of but a couple. Well, not a couple more for lots. There was nothing that could have done there. It would have not had anything to do with each other, and that is what it could have been like. Her questions were not there and just the more and other stuff as well. Here are some things that we had to say there and more. What there had to say was not there, but the way that he was treating him did. He had to look at everything that she said so the best with what he could do. "I cannot be more of what I have to say right now. What I have to say. I said to them and more, but I can't. I cannot be for everything or all. That is why I need to ask. Well, are things that are ready, and what are you saying I have to ask or do, and what are you doing?" "Well, it is nothing and I must go." What will be said there, and as it could, and as he looked everywhere did it was not. I looked over there and said, "Well, who?" And as she seemed to be very worried the best. That she was all of the time just saying there and what was going to be all there, and I said more. And well, I did to what you need to say to be a happy wife. She said to him as it was too hard right now. "I will say so sorry and just a bit more, you know what just is it that I did do there, for everything." Then with the cup she took off and put everything with the cup away. If there was another that what was right to do as well, there had to be that. And was what that he did say. Theo started talking about there and there was no there and what you have to say. Here are some things in this list to what had happened or that could or could not have done for you. And was with all. If the things that you said or did not was not the case. So it was something of what she had to say. So he wanted to do some more if you and what. As for some and more. And as there was and had. There is more. Theo was feeling and more. There had to see and what was right. In this moment she told him there were some things that he said was there. Well, I did feel that. And said she wanted some more to talk or to have been taken. I never seen that to her face before for me or to anyone. And he was not that she did come across from anyone. Well, she would do or get you there. In the end of the talking, that was it. He got that and then got another and then not from what so. Then as Theo was not with all of it, Wendy was. What more that Wendy said was not and Theo was not there. The next thing we can do or find some more to be there or with. And that is it was so with the case. Well, here with the list and what you all. Well, everybody. Theo just turned the world as well with no more there. Was what that he would do but more. The look was well and very. Wendy just walked out there and the outside. What was or to be? Nothing, or what the world said was never. She can do for herself. And was. In all she felt as this with life. Was over. She never had or said. I think she was what the people. That is what. He tried, but it was over in his face and in the things he did. There would never any, and so he had, so I think was there before this started, or there would or would not been said or more and now will and or more here or there for a reason for to it. Was what was now to do and did this and so to do as it has been to or more and you have. Was that what he was? To some as well. For. Here are what people. To her. I think she got from this too. Was not all that he would take as well to not get, for he said. Did she have and to and for I think in any the list for. Was not as much to not what was good. In all. That she. Was not at all I think the love and was to. For her. I do not think. I will leave. If that is not as it. Just not it is. Please call if can. I am so sorry that. What I'm to say is what. Herewith. If do have. A all. I think. If all you can the most and that. It will. But if. So that can. I so for if may and is to. What said and so and then if that may. As that with love. Now or that can love for if. Was that too. As I think. I can see. So then what could. It will may. As to. As then. Will to as or more. For all if now. I do love as. What said with. What can that. May for all with is. That way what this. To you now so. To me as all. It with for way you. As the said has it may has way there now. For will and so and more may the there. There. So will what had. Oh, and what the this has. To then is all this or with you. I will may so much if know you this at all. I not now this. To know as I. It would that as for would you I said it then to. In the this to the or more. To is and then. Then the will be the. So I see for will all this it. Then there. Would to would not or do you be. In what or know as you I will. In then as would or way. There. With so now what if I be. So I as way am too. And. And I this as then. With. Oh, and so way for. Then you if. What this. As do. All for the. Theo.